Welcome to my brain dump channel. Today's Wednesday. I'm walking back from the gym with the sun pretty high and intense because I spent almost 4 hours there. I did an hour of CrossFit, which felt really good, and then spent some time stretching because I learned recently at the Dubai Muscle Show that my body is misaligned in a few ways. They did this pretty cool test where they have this thing on a tripod and a mat. And you do a couple of movements and then it tells you what parts of your body are not in proper alignment. For me, that's my knees, for instance. They're like pointing outwards slightly. I have like slight O legs. And then they tell you what exercises you can do to fix your posture. One for me, for instance, is my head is like leaning a bit too far forward. I guess maybe it's from computer time or sitting too much in general. So yeah, I did those exercises at the gym and did some stretching. I found a really good way to do the pancake stretch that I was doing in Mexico. I had someone to help me, like we would stretch each other, but now I'm gonna do it with the elastic band, and it's pretty good. So I'll post that soon. Yesterday was also interesting. I did an interview with this girl I met through couchsurfing called Xiao from China. She has a YouTube channel with 170,000 followers, and she asked if she could interview me because she has other interviews with people that are entrepreneurs. She also asks questions about relationships and all that. So yeah, to me it seemed like a good opportunity to practice my interviewing skills. I don't know if I said enough, how do you say, polarizing things or you know, things that capture attention, but I guess it's a good learning experience, so we'll see if it goes anywhere. Something else I started doing yesterday is to put an intention behind trades that I make. For instance, I saw that Solana was generally dropping to some point below $100. It would go like it went from 102 back down to 90 point something, back to 100, back down to 90, 92 or something. So I figured now that we're in a bull market, you know, because I'm not all too confident as a trader, but I figured that in bull markets, hopefully, generally, most trades will have success, and you hopefully won't have to wait too long for long to get, you know, if there's a small drop, say 5 to 10 to 20%, well, 20 is already reasonable. But the idea is basically to catch drops or like flash crashes and make a bit of profit along the way based on fluctuations rather than only holding long. I do this automatically to some extent, but with small amounts. I only have about maybe $10,000 currently set up that I have bots trading. Crypto.com is a good platform where you don't have to pay like anything additionally. I think Binance also has it these days where you can set up a grid bot and it'll automatically buy and sell when there are, when it rises and falls. So it's a good way when stuff goes sideways. It's a good way to still make some money in crypto. Anyway, back to the point. I thought it would be a nice idea to have an intent whenever I place such a trade, if it's successful, to assign 50% of the profits to something I've been wanting to do. For instance, now, you know, it's basically to get through maybe some resistance that you might otherwise feel spending money. But if you do it like this, then it almost feels like free money in a way. Yes, you're taking a risk, of course, but I don't know, I like the thought of it for some reason. So this time I set a buy order at 93 point something, and I had it sell at 94 almost, making me, I made about $400 in the process. So generally I'm not a fan of margin trading, and I'm not a fan of trading in general. If you're not a trader, it's hard to compete, but if you limit your risk, you know, to what you can afford to lose, and even better if you do it with a good purpose, then the 400 approximately was between I think $350. So half of that, or half of that amount I'm going to use to do interviews, or I'm going to gift to any workers that I find that wanna agree to an interview about how they got to Dubai, if they were aware of how the conditions are, and if they're happy with their jobs basically, or if they feel like they're being exploited. That's an ongoing rumor circulating on Instagram. I mean, I'm sure not just rumor, I mean, I'm sure it happens, but I wanted to do some interviews myself to like gauge how pervasive might this be. So that's the idea, you know, ask some workers here and say like, hey, do you want to do a quick interview? Ask them these questions, and then, you know, say thank you for your time by giving them some of my trading profits, because I feel like they have a much harder time earning than putting in a quick trade. You know, once you have capital, it's a lot easier to make more capital. So yeah, maybe it's hopefully, maybe it's whoever's watching this, if there's anyone watching this channel, you know, maybe it'll help with the karma in some way as well.